Hey, welcome in. We'll be with you shortly here as we start the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. And as soon as the commercial ends, we'll start the live show. Thanks for joining us.
At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
Here we go. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to be with you. What a great night we had last night at the Lazy Chameleon. Packed house. Thanks to all of you who bought tickets, who gave us a portion of your Wednesday night, a big portion of your Wednesday night. We started about 6 o'clock and we finished up around 9:30, 10. Mike Gallagher in town. Mike is doing his show right now in an adjacent studio here at The Answer. He was extremely gracious with his time and mingled with a lot of our attendees. And I just enjoy so much. I can't tell you how much it strengthens me to be out and to get to meet the people that listen to the show. Radio's a fun medium, but it's a difficult medium in that you don't really get to interact a lot of times with the people who listen. And to hear people say, hey, I listen to the show every day, or I listen to the podcast, or appreciate your perspective on things, extremely strengthening. And of course, those of you who said that you've been praying for me and my health situation, that is deeply appreciated as well. I can't even convey in words how much that's appreciated, but it was so much fun last night. Jack Windsor, the Ohio Press Network, and the Windsor Report here on The Answer there as well. We had a nice free-flowing discussion on stage talking about elements of Ohio politics, Bernie Moreno's win in the GOP Senate primary, and about immigration, Joe Biden's ruining of our economy, all the other aspects around it. Mike and I have a little bit of a different perspective on Trump. I think Mike's more all in on Trump. I think it's fair to say the difference between Mike and I on Trump is Trump would be Mike's favored candidate out of all the people who initially sought the Republican presidential nomination. My favorite candidate would have been Ron DeSantis. I will vote for Trump. I got to tell you, I'm really relieved Bernie Moreno won the Senate primary, because it was going to be a little bit awkward at our next big station event, the Talkers Tour in October, where I presume had Matt Dolan won, Matt Dolan would be on stage trying to cater to conservatives. And I would have absolutely looked him in the face and said, I'm not voting for you. I would have said that. And wouldn't be the first job I lost in radio because I said what was really on my mind. Oh, I don't think I would have lost this one because the people here are too good. And I would have articulated what my issue was with Matt Dolan. But my issue with Matt Dolan does not exist with Bernie Moreno. And Donald Trump is decidedly the choice over Joe Biden. As if we needed further evidence, we got it yesterday in the halls of Congress with House Oversight Committee testimony from Tony Bobulinski. We'll have a lot of sound on that. But let's boil it down at the beginning of the show to another topic that came up a lot between me and you, our listeners, last night. Fair amount of you concerned about Shayla Favor's win in the Democratic primary for Franklin County Prosecutor. And John Rutan, who is going to run as the Republican candidate in the fall, was there last night. I met John. I told John I would do everything I could within reason. I can't put a guest on every single day, but everything I could within reason to support his candidacy. But John understands it's an uphill battle to win in Franklin County, because if you have an R next to your name, I mean, you might as well have leprosy. You're likely not going to get in unless people really have a clear picture. Well, I'm going to stop myself because I hate to tell you a lie. I was going to say, unless people have a really true picture of who Shayla Favor is, but I don't really think Shayla Favor's hid who she is. And she won the primary over the endorsed candidate of Gary Tyack, the sitting prosecutor. And honestly, if I were a Democrat, Gary Tyack's endorsement wouldn't mean beans to me either, because he has run a horrible prosecutor's office. But here's what I will promise you. I will promise you this, Columbus. I will promise you this, Central Ohio. If you thought the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office was a dumpster fire under Gary Tyack, and it is, it's a dumpster fire rolling downhill without brakes under Shayla Favor. You know how we've talked before about the crooked prosecutors in Baltimore? And by the way, she's going to jail for the whole Freddie Gray nonsense. And obviously, we've had our fun with Fani Willis in Atlanta. Wants to be a judge, afraid to hold Fani Willis accountable. Fani Willis and all the other woke Soros prosecutors out there have a friendly face to hand the baton to in Shayla Faber. She is going to further depress the Columbus Police Department officers on the street. Crime is going to skyrocket under her stewardship, such as it is, of the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office. And violent crime in our city is going to escalate because she will refuse to prosecute it. And because she believes, and I'm reading right out of paragraph 3 of a dispatch story today, exulting in her election as the Democratic candidate for Franklin County Prosecutor, she believes there is, and I quote, an opportunity for her office to be more proactive and to, listen to this, reduce violent crime with evidence-based programs that minimize incarceration. So we're going to reduce violent crime, carjackings, armed robbery, assault, murder. We're going to reduce that by minimizing incarceration. The kindest thing I can say about that is that she has such an open mind, her brain has fallen out. What I really want to say is that she is fully absorbed and captured by the evil ideology that people are basically good, and if you treat them nice enough, they will return that niceness to you and stop committing crimes. If you are a person who has ever cracked the Bible, attempted to understand the gospel, or even observed human nature from a distance, you know that man is depraved and that our inclinations trend toward self-serving agenda items and toward things that are not kind, not nice. That comes from the gratitude we feel over being forgiven through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ at the cross, and we want to repay our Lord and Savior for his atonement on our behalf. That is why you don't pursue the things that come most naturally to you. And when society has an issue with lawlessness, what has worked, the only thing that has ever worked over time, is one of two things. The first thing, because most people are not Christians and don't prioritize God in their life, is incarceration, is a choice that you give people when they commit a crime, which is, we're going to take you out of the life you are in. We are going to detain you, put you behind bars, inconvenience you, make your life more unpleasant as a result of the consequences of your actions, so that you have a choice. Okay, how did I wind up here in the Gray Bar Motel? By stealing that car, by beating that person over the head with a gun and taking their car, by robbing that person, by killing someone. I don't like it here behind bars. How do I get out of here? I behave myself, I serve my time, and then I go out and I don't do that again. That's how that equation works. Crime, punishment, accountability, consequences for actions. That works. The only other way that it works, and you can't do it on some violent crime, but you can do it with some unpleasant behavior like addiction. And one of our sponsors last night was Adult Teen Challenge Ohio. The way they get people who have not committed crimes, but whose lives are still an absolute train wreck because they're addicted to something, is to get them to understand how much God loves them. And then once they understand that, I was made for a purpose and someone does love me and I can be forgiven, Then you can get people to listen to reason and incorporate discipline in their life and accountability and consequences on their own, because I don't want to be addicted to drugs anymore. I don't want to be addicted to prostitution anymore. That works too. But in the cases Shayla Faber is going to handle as the Franklin County prosecutor, cases where people have broken the law, minimizing incarceration to reduce violent crime is absolutely positively not going to work. It is absolutely positively not going to reduce violent crime. It is going to invite an escalation in violent crime. And she can argue this in any woke way she wants to. She is wrong, and the community is going to pay a heavy toll for her utter lunacy in believing that you can love people into obeying the law. You cannot. You cannot do it. It does not work. It has never worked, and it will not work here. And the citizens of Columbus will pay the price for her idiocy. I don't use the word idiot blithely. I've defined it for you before. Let me define it for you again. Shayla Faber is an idiot because there is a plethora of knowledge available to her that would counter her viewpoint. She chooses to ignore it. Someone who has knowledge available and ignores it is an idiot.
Today 41, it'll be clear and cold tonight with a low of 27. Clouds and warmer tomorrow, afternoon shower and a high 61. For tomorrow night, shower and spots in the evening, otherwise cloudy, low 34. And then clouds and brisk on Saturday, high at 41. A sunny day Sunday, high 50. And then for Monday, warmer times of clouds and sun, high on Monday at 67. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. You've heard me talk about rough greens and how it literally is helping thousands of dogs feel better and live longer, including my dog, Mr. Briggs, who loves it. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who created rough greens, is also
Which one of the
an Ranger,
cameras
Green
is
Beret, and
this
Vietnam Air helicopter pilot.
That one's on right
He
there.
also
This
loves
one on the
dogs so
stand
much
is
that
on.
he's totally committed to helping as many dogs as he can, because he knows that dogs need
Alan, was
nutrition.
Alan doing the show yesterday or the
They
day
say
before?
that dog food's dead food.
Monday.
Rough greens with essential vitamins and minerals, minerals, digestive enzymes, probiotics, and plenty of antioxidants. Dr. Black and his dogs are offering a free Jumpstart trial bag so your dog can try it to get back their energy, improve their elimination, and get rid of the itching and scratching and bad breath. Get your free Jumpstart
It's just
trial
showing
bag.
the wall
All you have to
back
do is
here.
cover the shipping. That's
Ooh,
right.
that's
All
weird.
you have to do
Yeah.
is cover the shipping, and you don't have to change your dog's food. Just add a small scoop of rough greens every day. Go to roughgreens.com/Kirk. That is ruffgreens.com/Kirk.
On the way.
Well, Mr. Rose, one moment, please.
Hello?
One moment, sir. Mr. Rose, one moment, please.
Okay. I waited 19 years. I can wait another minute. He Rose.
One moment, sir.
Good thing they had a missile on the way. I kept picking up, this guy kept saying, Mr. Reagan's on the line, and I said, hello? And he said, hi, this is Ronald Reagan. I said, hi, how you doing? Everybody got a big kick out of it. What the hell was I supposed to say? Hello. Yes, sir. How you doing? He's a great sports fan.
Let's chat.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
What do you want your future to be like? Invest in your education today, something that no one can take away from you. Ohio Christian University's online programs for working adults give you the flexibility to take one class at a time to fit your busy schedule. Our programs range from business to psychology and substance abuse counseling. Classes begin on March 19th, 2024. Take the next step and call 844-726-7937 today to learn more, or go to ohiochristian.edu/apply.
So once this wind dies down and the temperatures warm up a bit, and I think that happens on Sunday, you're going to get the urge to start getting out there, riding your bike, playing golf, working in the yard. And initially when you start, right, the arthritis fires up, the pain fires up, and you think, man, oh man, I thought over the winter this would go away. No, your body wants to heal. It's designed to heal. It just needs a little help. So I'm here to help you find that help, and that help will be available to you at a place called QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, what do? They take your body's natural healing agents and they concentrate them, and then they give them back to your body in the areas where you have pain. We all need a little help from time to time. Your body, it needs a little help concentrating those healing agents to make your body do what it's naturally designed to do. You cut your finger, it heals, right? Your body is designed to heal. Let QC Kinetics help you heal. Call them for your free consultation, 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. So I was sitting here pondering the possibility of likely Franklin County Prosecutor-to-be Shayla Favors' unique, parenthetically stupid, idea to reduce violent crime with programs that minimize incarceration. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm too harsh. Maybe Shayla Favor is a visionary. Maybe she has figured out something that I have not figured out. And so I tried to think in what other areas of society might doing something so counterintuitive as to reduce violent crime by minimizing incarceration. How else would I apply that principle in other areas of our society? For instance, perhaps I could minimize obesity by offering people unlimited access to the chocolate fondue fountain at Golden Corral. Could that work? Maybe she shouldn't restrict herself to just violent crime. Maybe Shayla Favor could apply this principle to solve all the problems of the Columbus Police Department Traffic Division. After all, if we would suspend every law on drunk driving and speeding, maybe we could get away from having traffic accidents at all. And our poor traffic reporters in the morning on their radio reports would have nothing to report because we had suspended all drunk driving laws and all speeding laws, and thus done away with all traffic accidents and anarchy and mayhem on our highways and interstates. You know where she gets these ideas? At least she's on the same mental wavelength as two people I would never want to be on the same mental wavelength as: Fani Willis and Kamala Harris. Now, it's interesting in this fawning dispatch profile of Shayla Favor in today's dispatch, she reiterated Wednesday to the dispatch that this campaign was not about her. It was for the next generation of little black and brown girls. And I thought, if you're a white attorney in her office, if you're a white police officer in the city of Columbus, if you're a white resident of Central Ohio, her view of her win in the three-way Democratic primary is to first and foremost focus on her race. Do you think there's a firewall between that mindset and how she will view you as a coworker, or as an underling, or as a potential person she could prosecute in her office? Do you think that's like, it's only as I dream about the future and the significance of my win, which, by the way, remember, the victory was not about her, but she's talking about her sex her race as the two most defining things that project into the future about her winning the Democratic primary. Here is Shayla Favor at her victory celebration on the night of the primary. I'm sorry, I played the wrong cut. I wanted you to hear something else from her first. So here is her opening comments from the celebration post-election on Tuesday night. Now this is interesting, is it not? Like I told you, she's a little bit like Fani Willis. See, this is a very now becoming commonplace practice among certain politicians, is to get up front that my victory was blessed by God. And I'm all about God. Now listen, you guys have listened to me for a long time. Nobody's more all about God than I am. But I don't come in here and say, to God be the glory, I have a talk show. To God be the glory that I can influence your minds and all this. I view this as a platform that I need to steward. But I'm suspicious of politicians who portray their victories as ordained by God. Because then if, like, you want to vote for John Rutan, what are you, like, anti-God? Because Shayla Favor's like, hey, you know, my victory's been ordained by God. Fani Willis said Jesus told her to prosecute Donald Trump. Wow. Sorry, you 18 co-defendants and the former president. You think Fani's a problem to overcome? Overcoming the savior of the world, that's a bigger problem. So I'm inherently suspicious of that particular viewpoint. Oh, it's a moment. It's a moment. Oh, no, of course not. Okay, now, why would they not know that? Why would they not know that, little black and brown girls? I'm looking at a picture here of Columbus City Council. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5, I can't tell for sure, African Americans on Columbus City Council. Okay, so obviously being African American is not an impediment to getting voted on to Columbus City Council, where Shayla Favor was elected to for a second term before 1 month into her second term, she decided, I'd rather run for prosecutor. I can prosecute more cops over there. I can have a greater impact on the things that are important to me. So there's like at least 4 and maybe 5 African Americans on the Columbus City Council. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 women on Columbus City Council. So obviously, being a woman and being black, there's no impediment to being highly placed in Columbus City politics. So I don't agree with her premise, but something tells me I'm not going to agree with much.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The Justice Department has filed a wide-ranging antitrust lawsuit against Apple. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the sweeping lawsuit, alleging that the tech giant has monopoly power in the smartphone market and uses its control over the iPhone to engage in a broad, sustained, and illegal course of conduct. Apple called the lawsuit wrong on the facts and the law and said it will vigorously defend against it. Doctors in Boston say they have transplanted a pig kidney into a 62-year-old patient. Massachusetts General Hospital said today it's the first.
About 55 seconds to respond to.
SRN News.
All right,
Insurance.
forgot to
Why are
change
you putting
the
it off?
lower
Can't
third
afford it?
on
Too much
the
hassle? Think you
thing.
don't
Sorry
need
about
it?
that.
There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance.
We are
But
now
if
in
you weren't there,
commercial.
who would
We
pay
were
the
not in
mortgage and
commercial
other
before,
bills?
but
With
we are in
Ethos, you
commercial
could be
now.
covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Laura Trump provides a fresh and honest perspective on the issues that matter to you on the Right View podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
The number of Americans, and I think this is part of the problem right now, the number of Americans getting their news from TikTok quadrupled in the past 3 years. It really kind of terrifies me for what is to come for this country.
Subscribe to the Right View on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at Salem Podcast Network.
We are strong and we'll get through this together, but these are stressful times. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, and know that you are not alone. Visit neobroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I love what I do with the Bruce Hooley Show. I hope you love what you do. You know, life is better when you have a passion, and Mike Lindell definitely has a passion. He wants to help you get the best sleep of your life. And after Mike Lindell invented the world's best pillow, he created the famous Giza Dream Sheets. They are the best sheets you'll ever sleep on. I know, I have them, and the best night's sleep just got even better. Because for a limited time, you get the queen-size set of Giza Dream bed sheets for $59.98. That's right. And the king size, just $69.98. That's the lowest price in history. Mike and MyPillow employees continue to be canceled by big box stores and attacked by the media, so they definitely appreciate all your great support during these times and want to thank you by giving you free shipping on your entire order today. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, and use my promo code Bruce to get the famous Giza Dream Sheets, queen size, only $59.98 a set, king size, just $69.98 a set. Giza Dream Bed Sheets on sale, lowest prices ever. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce.
Are you ready for an adventure of a lifetime? Journey with me, Mike Gallagher, and Dr. Sebastian Gorka on the Patriots Alaska cruise this summer. It's going to be an incredible opportunity to engage with other like-minded patriots on an epic 7-day cruise over 4th of July. Witness the untouched wilderness of Alaska while discussing America's future. Join Dr. Gorka and me, Mike Gallagher, from June 29th through July the 6th. Call 855-565-5519 or reserve online at patriotsalaskacruise.com.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
I had several people ask me last night at our event at the Lazy Chameleon, why do you sell flooring? Well, I sell flooring because A, the guy I work for is a dear, dear friend, and B, it gives me an opportunity to get to meet more people and to see them happy. Because when people get new flooring in their home, man, it just changes the whole dynamic. Maybe you're getting a tax refund. Maybe you have a graduation party coming up for the graduate in your family. I know this. Eventually, your flooring wears out. Eventually, you need new flooring. And when you do, and you want to save money and you like to get it in quick, Soft Step Carpeted Flooring in Plain City is the answer for you. We're just down the road from Costco, not far from Post Road and 33. We don't have high overhead. That's how we can save you money. And we're a nimble operation. We have all the major brands. You're going to love it. You can reach out, get a hold of me, brucehooley@gmail.com, or go to my website, brucehooley.com, click on the flooring label, or stop by the store. 9 to 5 open. You will save. You will love it. Soft Step Carpet on 161 near Costco, or call the store 614-873-0001. Well, look who's back on the Trump train. Little guy, you might miss him there in the seat. He's kind of tiny. What's your name again, sir? Oh, that's right. Mike DeWine, governor of the state of Ohio. He tells Jesse Balmert of the Cincinnati Enquirer, the pocket governor does, that he is now pledging his support for Donald Trump and Bernie Moreno in the general election. Well, better late than never. DeWine, of course, endorsed Matt Dolan, the non-Republican, in the Republican primary. And he has been cool to the former president, which I guess I'd be cool to him too, if the former president called me a stiff and someone who had fallen to the radical left. Then again, I wouldn't have vetoed the Save Women's Sports Act and the bill that bans transgender surgeries in the state of Ohio. So me and the former president, and hopefully future president, would be simpatico on that. That is what Mike DeWine did to earn Donald Trump calling him a stiff. I got to admit, man, Trump is so funny. Mike Gallagher was saying last night at our event that Trump is such a comedian. And he is. Trump is a very, very funny dude. And it's doubly humorous when someone does something that the general perception is, well, that just isn't done here. Like, who calls another politician a stiff? But you know, when you hear it, you go, that's exactly right. Like, he's exactly right. That's what DeWine is. He's just stiff, and he has fallen to the radical left. And I appreciate the honesty. You know, I appreciate the honesty. Somebody asked me the other day about my statement that I would not vote for Matt Dolan if he won the Ohio Senate primary. And thankfully he didn't, so I don't have that problem. But they said, you know, how can you not vote for Matt Dolan? Like, he's pro-life and he's I'm like, well, I'm not sure he is pro-life. But they said, well, what do you mean you're not sure he's pro-life? And I said, well, he's pro-LGBTQ, and I think that ruins people's lives. Drawing people into that lifestyle, defending that lifestyle, all the offshoots of that lifestyle. And I said, I don't want to vote for Sherrod Brown in a Matt Dolan costume. And I prefer my enemies face me unmasked than to be someone who has a mask on that makes me think, oh, they're not my enemy. And then they go and they get into, I don't care where it is, onto a board of trustees, onto a board of commissioners, mayor of a city, city prosecutor, Ohio House, Ohio Senate, U.S. House, U.S. Senate, White House. I just want to know you are who I think you are. You're not who you say you are. You are who you tell me you are, and you're consistent in that. I don't have that feeling with Matt Dolan, hence I wouldn't have voted for him. And we have seen this play out with the way that we were promised, a return to normalcy and everything. The adults are back in charge. And our country has never been in worse shape than it's been in. And I fear, and I said this last night to those of you who were there, and if you missed it, this is what I said. If Joe Biden wins the coming election, I consider it, I don't live in fear, but I consider it a possibility that someday, either during this show or after this show, I consider it a possibility that somebody from some three-letter agency will come down the hallway and either ask me questions, hassle me, or take me away. Because by then, they'll have long since settled their lawfare against Donald Trump. And they will turn will they stop? What have we learned, class, by listening to the Bruce Hooley Show? The left never holds a what? Victory party. That's right. So once they bankrupt, incarcerate, or otherwise diminish Donald Trump, do you think they'll stop? Well, we got him. We don't have a democracy protected. Everything is fine. No, of course not. Did you see the riot last night in Memphis? Why were they rioting in Memphis last night, Bruce? On the campus of the University of Memphis. Oh, here's why they were rioting on the campus of the University of Memphis last night. Because Kyle Rittenhouse was there to speak to an audience. Kyle Rittenhouse, the teenager who was found not guilty of murder, who acted in self-defense in the George Floyd riots in Wisconsin. Well, there were riots that Kyle Rittenhouse was there. Don't you love it when the people who are so fully committed to defending democracy riot over Kyle Rittenhouse's mere presence on campus, where there were a fair amount of people who wanted to hear what he had to say? But see, Kyle Rittenhouse can't be allowed to say what he wants to say, and people are not allowed to listen to it because violence and threats and smears are the weapons that they use on the left to silence the right. It's not to scare us. The scaring is just halfway down the road to silencing. If they could silence you without scaring you, they would. But they know that scaring you, breaking windows, rioting is an effective tool. And the Biden administration knows that taking down your license number in a school board meeting parking lot, coming to your door, asking you about the gun you just bought, tracking your purchase through Dick's Sporting Goods or any other retailer that they think might provide them a concentration of Trump voters, they're not going to stop. So if Trump gets elected, I have no concern at all about somebody walking down the hallway here and hassling me about something I said on the air. Because you know why? Because if Trump gets elected, I don't have a fear that our freedom of speech will go away. We have actual Supreme Court justices who now think it is problematic to limit the federal government's ability to intrude on your freedom of speech. It is problematic for the federal government to intrude on your freedom of speech. Yes, that is the whole point of the First Amendment. How does it start? Congress shall make no law. Okay? Seems pretty self-evident to me. Congress shall make no law to take away your freedom of speech. But the Biden administration is not committed to that. They're not committed to the wisdom of our founders. And that is why, while every election is the most consequential election ever because it's the latest one, this election is indeed the most consequential ever because things that we never thought would be challenged before are certainly on the table for the Biden administration. And for people who are power hungry and corrupt and who treasure prominence and prestige and influence over everything, just from a pure logical point of view, if they are not stopped, if they can raise your gas prices and your grocery prices, if they can let the southern border be wide open, if they can say that men can be women and women could be men, and that there's no delineation between the two, and they get reelected, why would they stop? Why would they stop? I understand it logically. I understand it spiritually. But hopefully we will stop it. And I hope the polls are right. I hope that Trump listens to people who tell him to talk 85% of the time about Joe Biden and 15% of the time about himself, only in the context of his record as president from 2016 to 2020. Stick to that, because if he sticks to that, then I think he's going to win. And I can't even fathom the glee that we will all experience on the night of November 5th if it becomes apparent to Democrats that they have been deserted by the minority voters that they believed were too stupid to objectively evaluate the conditions that those voters are subjected to because of the policies of the Biden administration. I can almost taste the tears of Van Jones and Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid and Nicole Wallace and others, Chris Hayes. Well, black voters didn't turn out for Biden. Hispanic voters didn't turn out for Biden. Yeah, because they like prosperity, because they like safe streets. I think that's well within our reach. That's attainable. But it is also inarguable that they are going to seize upon every single thing that Donald Trump says in an effort to misportray who he is and what he stands for.
Clouds are changing today. Afternoon high today 41. It will be clear and cold tonight with a low of 27. Clouds and warmer tomorrow. Afternoon shower and a high 61. For tomorrow night, shower at spots in the evening. Otherwise, cloudy.
Sorry, forgot to change the lower third again.
On Saturday, high at 41. A sunny day Sunday.
For example, how many black communities are in a situation where,
Cutting a little audio here.
for example, how many black communities are in a situation where they come from a circumstance where they're in difficulty, where the families are in real trouble, where you have people who, how many, even those families that are really poor don't have any books in the house. The kids don't hear a whole lot of conversation.
What? What? What is the old man talking about? Oh.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys that specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We're the leaders in acceptance of offers of compromise with awesome results. We're also a small firm who will treat you like family, not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176. Together, we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Hey, Health Warriors, Dr. Brendan Schreiner here with Revive Your Health Radio on 98.9 FM The Answer, where every week you're going to get world-class lifestyle education from myself and other healthcare practitioners. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, be sure to tune in to Revive Your Health Radio every week on 98.9 FM The Answer.
Revive Your Health Radio with Dr. Brandon Schreiner, Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 and Sunday morning from 9 to 10 on 98.9 FM The Answer.
You'll sleep better knowing you've got a great deal on a great mattress because you've got it from Mac Mattress Outlet and the Discount Shopping Club. Right now, get a $500 certificate from Mac Mattress Outlet for any mattress purchase for only $250. These certificates go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. For details, log on to the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com.
She's gone from reporting on the sidelines to making sense of the headlines. It's the Michelle Tafoya podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
There are people, Democrat operatives, that are saying, yeah, things are not looking good. Maybe Mr. Biden needs to bow out. Maybe the president needs to take a look at what's best for the party and say, you know what, I'm not going to run again.
Subscribe to the Michelle Tafoya podcast today on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
The My Pillow Giza Dream bed sheets have never been priced lower. If you are someone who thinks that thread count is the way to grade a great set of sheets, sorry, you've been sold a bill of goods by the sheet and cotton industry. No, it is the quality of the cotton that makes a difference, and that is not reflected in thread count. I know that Mike Lindell's Giza Dream bed sheets are fantastic from personal experience because I sleep on them every night. We absolutely love them, and I believe you'll love them too, and you'll particularly love the price. Go out and price a high thread count sheet set. Can you get a king set for $69.98? Can you get a queen set for $59.98? No, of course not. You will only get those prices with the highest quality cotton ever, the Giza cotton that comes from the Middle East, via MyPillow.com by going to MyPillow.com and using my promo code Bruce. Don't limit yourself to sheets. If you need a better pillow, MyPillow.com is the best pillow possible. Towel sets, slippers, all the other great products. Survey them all and save on them all via MyPillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. The administration and pro-levy people in the Olentangy School District are licking their wounds today in the aftermath of getting crushed by their request for more money from their residents. For the average $400,000 home, and if you've cruised around the area around Olentangy High School, Liberty High School, Berlin High School, or Orange High School, you know that the average home is at least $400,000. They're not talking about retail value of that home. They're talking about assessed value of that home. Most of the homes are above that value, and it is an area where a lot of people who have achieved a lot in life have gravitated. They want their kids to be educated well. They don't want their kids to be indoctrinated that America is a terrible place and a hateful country. And there's too much of that going on in the Olentangy schools. And parents' opinions have been diminished or silenced by forcing them to register to speak at school board meetings and put down on paper what they're going to say, and limiting the number of people who can speak. And that plays poorly when you're asking people to give you another $600 or more in property taxes to fund the what appears to be unabated expansion of your school district. So they got smoked. 66% against the proposed levy. And here's a resident who tells WSYX6, you have to grow to keep your community thriving, but at this point, living here so long, we've grown enough, and I'm tired of paying for such large developments. Yeah, not lost upon her is the fact that the Columbus building industry and other builders like Pulte Homes and others donated very generously to the pro-levy campaign, because a lot of people like living in Delaware County and in the Olentangy School District. But at some point, enough's enough. So Todd Meyer, the the superintendent of Olentangy School, says, as you might imagine, we are naturally disappointed that the ballot issue placed before the voters did not receive enough support. It is the lowest operational ask of this community in 30 years. Well, it implies that you didn't ask for very much. What you discount is what you've asked for over the past 30 years. And that has a progressive, depressing impact on people's finances in your district, Mr. Meyer. So I don't know. We were having this discussion last night with some dear friends at the event at the Lazy Chameleon. What's their move when you get smoked like this? You come back in the fall, you think you can make up essentially a 27, 26, 7, 8% deficit in the polls in a couple months? Now, I know they saved a bunch of the money that they got from the builders to fund their next levy campaign, but that's a big ask. And here's the other thing. Does it help you or hurt you that in the fall, it's a presidential election? Presidential election means what? More people at the polls, right? More people coming out to vote. We're going to have a lot of people vote in this election. We're not going to have as many voters as the last time, unless, of course, they phony up another pandemic and they figure out a way to have unabated mail-in voting. But a presidential election draws a lot of people to the polls. Do school levies generally do better, pass, fail, better chance of passing or better chance of failing, the more people who show up at the polls? My personal view is the more people who show up at the polls, not for the levy necessarily, but just for anything on the ballot, and the president's on the ballot, so it's a big deal. Senate's on the ballot, it's a big deal here in Ohio. We're going to have a big, high voter turnout in Ohio. And I don't think, do what you want, Olentangy administration, but I don't think that helps Olentangy's administration convince people to vote. Now, I don't know the political makeup so much. I think it's pretty split, Biden, Trump. If you had if you had an 80% district for Biden, then I'd say, sure, it's got a chance to pass because you got a bunch of wokesters who don't mind teachers walking around in dresses and rainbow socks and putting LGBTQ flags in their classroom. They'd be all about that. But if you have a lot of Trump voters in your district, if it's 50-50, and I think with some of the things going on in the Olentangy district and the lack of transparency, which we've discussed, going to meetings, not coming to the phone, explaining what they were doing at the meetings. Are they allowed to be at the meetings? What were they discussing at the meetings? Who's given to the dark money group? How much money are they giving to the dark money group? The lack of transparency hurt them in Olentangy. And it'll hurt every school district. It'll hurt every school district or any entity that's not transparent. Any entity. The state board that oversees solar is meeting today to determine whether to greenlight Bill Gates' Oak Run solar farm, which would just consume like 6,000 acres of farmland in Madison County. If you drive out I-70 toward Dayton, right there by the, what is it, the Molly Caron Agricultural Center of Ohio State, right there along I-70 where they hold the Farm Science Review. You want to drive that in 5 years. If Bill Gates' project gets greenlit, then you're going to see like windmills everywhere. Windmills everywhere. And the vibration from the windmills, the research says, can have a debilitating effect on adjacent farmland where there might not be windmills. Now, that is not something that the residents of Madison County want. It is not. But a lot of times when these decisions are made, the residents don't weigh in, and the boards hide behind the lazy excuse, and the Olentangy board probably hidden behind this lazy excuse itself, which is, but the people don't know, it won't hurt them. Well, just approve it, and by the time they find out about it, it'll be too late to complain. That is not the spirit of a true public servant. A true public servant would go, like for instance, Madison County commissioners used to meet like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, nobody came and complained. Well, they're working, okay? How about you hold a meeting at night so they can actually weigh in? See, this is how public servants ought to think, but it's not how public servants think. And it's not a Madison County thing. It's not an Olentangy school thing. It's become a federal thing, because yesterday we had Tony Bobulinski in front of the House Oversight Committee, and he was talking about the Bidens. And here are the Bidens, and it's not just it's not just Democrats, it's Republicans too. They view their position, the confidence the voters have placed in them, as a way to get rich, as a great gig, the health insurance, the benefits, the this, the that. So in the next hour, you're going to hear from Tony Bobulinski, and a lot of the things that he said yesterday in Congress and the very entertaining back and forth he had with all-out crazy Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who became very indignant yesterday when she sort of dared Tony Bobulinski to say, well, what crimes did you see President Biden commit? Did you see him commit any crimes? And Bobulinski's like, yeah, this and this and this and this. Well, did you see it? Yes, this and this and what? And he told her what, and then she, of course, was like reclaiming her time. So this is a phenomenon that we see in politics at every level, and it's why I am a big fan of citizen representatives, people who've actually done it, who've lived it, who've maybe even been penalized by how the system works. That's why I think Bernie Moreno has a powerful story to tell as a Senate candidate in the state of Ohio. He's got the self-made man story to tell. He's got the legal immigrant story to tell. And Trump's got a powerful story to tell, too. He's a self-made man. He's not an immigrant, but he's got a story to tell about the persecution that's been pointed at him from the Biden administration. He's got to stick to that in order to win.
IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes...
All right, sorry for the lower third mistakes today, and I appreciate you guys joining, and we'll do it again tomorrow. If you're watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, thanks for joining, and if you attended last night's event, thanks so much. Really enjoyed that, really enjoyed interacting with you guys, and fun time. Can't tell you how much I appreciate the personal support. So have a great day, and if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend.